Today we look upon Shogun 2 Realism Plus, a mod that greatly changes the vanilla game of Shogun 2 in how the campaign is played and with a combination of realism to put into the gameplay. Although it was not the main goal of the creators of the mod to be truly historically accurate. Created by DaVinci, this mod is an update of the first Shogun 2 Realism that brought the mod to the fullest of compatibilities with the recent patches and small tweaks to the features. This mod, when it comes to aesthetics changes, it has not done anything. Everything from the UI and the campaign map looks the same. The goal of this mod is not on changing the campaign map or the UI, nor adding new settlements, but instead is on how you recruit units and their limitations, as well with a reformed system of the technologies and AI behaviors. Most notable feature is how AI factions are less aggressive. One thing that I didn't like on vanilla is how the factions immediately attack each other, and most factions would begin to disappear in the first turns of the campaign. Now on Shogun 2 Realism Plus, the factions survive much longer, to the point where in the endgame, you still have several factions roaming the campaign map. This is so to reflect the shady nature of the Sengoku Jidai, where clans wouldn't trust each other, making them not taking drastic moves. Unfortunately, the mod was not able to fix the awful habit of Shogun 2 of when in war the AI sends everything against you, including their daimyo and heir, making the smallest mistake for that faction to be the end of their clan. Another great aspect on the campaign map is the recruitment system that changed dramatically from vanilla. Now for every unit, you have a limit that you can recruit, where non-samurai units are more readily available in quantity, while the samurai units are more scarce in their quantity and in unit numbers. There's even a great number of elite samurai units that can only be recruited once. I really like this concept of limited army numbers, since it felt cheap to spam a certain type of unit and just go into conquering the entire map. It also represents how feudal Japan worked, with their limited numbers of samurai. So no faction can really expand that much without being attacked from multiple sides and with no way of defending with their limited number of units. Not only that, but there are many units that require more to be recruited, such as a certain type of technology or a unique building that only exists in certain regions. To increase the flavor of the time period, the units have Japanese-derived unit names. The issue with this is that you won't understand what the names mean. You can figure out what they're supposed to represent with their unit cards, but there are some you won't know their names really. The best way to put names like this is the Europa Barbarum formula, having the English version of the name in parentheses. As for the unit roster, you see many vanilla type units that are reused, but you also have around 40 new units taken from the additional units mod. Not all of these units will be available for all factions. It really depends on the faction and culture you have to obtain certain types of units. Some minor changes have also been made to how the flow of the campaign presents itself. Movement range in the campaign map, at least on land, is the same. But when on sea, the movement points that you can accomplish is absolutely tremendous compared to what vanilla offered. A smart change in my opinion, because naval transportation is supposed to be more efficient and faster than marching on land. Never understood why so many Total War games, and even mods, make ships so slow. One other change that I actually didn't realize at the beginning of this overview that existed is the character skill points that you have to level up the skills of your generals and agents. Now you only receive 2 skill points instead of the 3. 1 point doesn't seem too much, but it really affects the development of your characters while you play your campaign. Now you need to be smarter in what you want for your characters to specialize, having a general for a specific role in your army. I love Shogun 2's skill point progression that the agents and generals have, but I thought that you could choose too many paths with the vanilla option of skill points, so I'm quite happy with this small change. For the technology screen, the presentation is almost the same, but on the effects of each tech tree, the results are quite different. Now, you have different type of buffs to your faction that affect armies, fleets, agents and generals. When you research a certain technology, you can gain the ability to build different type of buildings, and recruitment of units are quite different from vanilla. A big example is that right from the beginning of the campaign, you can't recruit any type of decent starting units without the art of Bushido. On the battlefield, the feel of Shogun 2 Realism Plus is quite unique. With different stats and morale given to the units, the battle will be much slower, although that can only be said with the samurai and monk type units, because all units that are taken from peasant stock have very low morale, making them retreat very early in the battle. I would like to see their morale a little higher, because like this, they seem to be paper thin, not really able to contend against anything. I like that the Ashigaru units are not as OP as in vanilla, making their strength their numbers of Ashigaru that you can recruit, instead of their killing power. Unfortunately, because of their low morale, they retreat early, many times not coming back. Another major change in the battle is in the range that missile units have, with archer and musket units having a much lower range than in vanilla, although muskets make massive damage to the enemy, while only elite archer units can inflict desirable damage. Overall, I highly recommend this mod for anyone that loves Shogun 2 and wants a more historically accurate representation. Of course, there's more mods that make a better presentation and even more changes, but this one is quite small and very easy to install. It's just pasting into the folder and you can immediately play it. So I highly recommend for its facility to installation and how much does it change into actual behavior and features on the regular vanilla features of Shogun 2. So I hope that you enjoyed this overview, and until the next one.